You said leverage relationships.
Yeah.
Is relationship building and maintenance a disappearing or an art that's disappearing in our industry with the advent of maybe tech?
If it is, I think it will be to the massive strength of people like you that are going to stick with it, because you can forget all the tech. Relationships and good personal interactions will always trump everything else. I mean, give me a phone and I would still beat the guy.
Is that because it's our kind of? I mean, we're all within 1 or 2 years of each other.
Yeah. I think you need the tech though. To be fair, to be competitive today, you've got to understand your cost base can be significantly improved by having good technology, good AI, good data mining, good nurturing processes. But I think put that in the hands of an idiot and you've still got a business that will fail. Yeah. You have to have the leadership, the person who can understand, that can actually command the tech to do and behave in a certain way that beholds their values, because the tech will only do
what it's told,
and it will only behave in a certain way.
How does someone doing that, like running a business? It's interesting. I had James Cocker and Google Clint on. Yeah. It was massively about those social media and ads, and I think the general gist of it is you should have someone doing this like for you, specialists who understand it, who are tracking it, who are trending it. They know what they're doing. They're a marketing specialist. Most estate agents have a couple of negs, a lister or a lister manager, a director, and not a lot of attention tends to go on the specialists that are probably required, certainly now, but moving forward in those areas of marketing.
The game's changed though, isn't it? Like from where you were, you think when we were at the C word 15 years ago.
That's countrywide, guys. Countrywide. Yeah, we can say countrywide. We'll have a chat about them as well in a minute.
Do we have to?
Yeah. But back then it was about putting it in the paper, and then putting it on Rightmove. Yeah.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Whereas now the game, where agents, so I've got no right to win in the premium market in my area. There's a really big agent in my area that has invested hundreds of thousands in the paper year on year. They're 15 times the size I am. They've got 100 times the budget I have. But they're just doing the same old things that they've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. They've not moved on. They've not evolved. Mm. And the thing is, when
why do you think that is, though? Like, again, you would recognise brands like that all over the country that have sat in the past and still keep doing the same things that they've always done. Is it ignorance or is it
complacency?
Complacency?
Complacency, and their board hasn't changed. So, if you've got people that grew up, some people can't change because they were successful doing something in the 90s. There is a perception, and they now lead these businesses, the corporates we're talking about, I think. They want to run the corporate the way it was when they were an estate agent. Well, the fact of the matter is that they're rowing a ship and the other guy's got an engine. They're done for. I think the corporates will probably start to centralise around lettings, and I think sales will fall back into the domain of the independent guys that know how to have relationships and have got decent technology.
It does feel like it's moving down that way.
It's 100%. You've only got to look at, you use Spectre, I use Sprift, but if you look at the data sets, the independent agents and the self-employed brokerage models and the ones where there's more contact with the client, they don't have to wait 10 chains of command to get a bloody decision on the leaflet or whatever it is they want to try and do. They are gathering market share, both in terms of listings and percentage of the market that sells, but the corporates are gaining market share in the letting space, primarily through acquisition and to hide to the shareholders' losses. I mean, they are buying turnover and profit to be able to say, "Oh, we've hit our target." They fail to say that they spent 50 million doing it, so yeah, I think you'll see that. But so they don't, and they will always use the excuse, "We're too big to make the change."
But yeah, yes, agreed. I'm just sorry, I kind of cut you off there, James. You were talking about the relationships, and you haven't got the right to, I can use the word penetrate that market, the premium market in that area.
So that's sort of podcast, is it?
Well, that was my other one that David and I do.
I'm going to say,
I want to be on that one.
Yeah. But I think agents, if they have got that a relationship ability and that understanding of people, but they back themselves with the right technology and automation and AI, like you've just said, you can fast track your way into a market.
Yeah. I mean, there's different angles of it. I mean, you know, obviously the complete agent, direct mail, getting through the right doors to the right people, being able to implement the marketing. We've got, you know, a home stylist as well. We've got create. I mean, you know, the biggest competitor has a marketing department, but like Iain just said, they've got to go through a board in order to make a decision. Whereas I can sit there and go, why don't we try this? And we can give it a go. The other thing as well is I do feel like, not just taking aim at that particular business, but a lot of businesses underpay people, and they'll pay the bottom rate in terms of sort of starting salaries. And you don't attract the right people. And the whole, and I totally get it, you're right, you know, rowing a ship when there's an engine. But I do feel like, and we talked about this recently, myself, Dave and Iain, about the old school element of estate agency has been lost with a lot of agents, and that they just chuck it on Rightmove and hope that it's going to sell. And if it doesn't sell, let's just keep chopping the price until someone buys it. Whereas the whole, you know, we're talking a lot about relationships today, and relationships are so important. And we've really kind of tried to drill home to even our own teams and our members that it's all about relationships, especially in this market, because it's got kind of, you know, we're not in a recession, but the market that I'm certainly seeing across the country, it's got that kind of recession-y feel to it. And you need to be able to have conversations, not just with these sellers, but with buyers, and go back to that old school way of thinking, you know, for all of those things I say countrywide. Again, when we were there, one of the great things they did teach us was about, you know, getting on the phone and speaking to people. And one of the things that I identified in that environment was who's going to buy a house. And, you know, you obviously focus and drill down who's going to buy, you know, when the market's great and the inquiries are coming in, anyone, my 8-year-old son could sell a house in 2021.